Hi, this is JP Singh, editor of Arts and International Affairs. I'm now talking with Anjali Bhushan, who is a filmmaker from Bollywood. And Anjali, welcome to Arts and International Affairs.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Great, Anjali. So our first question for you is regarding your documentary film, which got a lot of attention, My Home India. You were taking a creative risk with that documentary. Can you tell us what type of a risk it was and why did you decide to take it?
Yeah, that's at the core of the filmmaking process that one went into. So I heard about the story from an uncle, a family friend, and I kind of didn't believe him because Polish people in India in the 1940s made no sense. Why were they here? How the hell did they come here? So we were like, I didn't believe him, literally. He said, no, but they were here and they were in Kolhapur. And I didn't believe that at all. So he said, you just take your camera and come. So he would just tell me that on several occasions. And one day I said, you know what, it's not so simple. And he said, I want you to make a Bollywood film out of this and come and research it. And I said, it doesn't work like that. And why would Bollywood want to make a film like this? And this is as old as 2006 that he was goading me to do this. I just, I read, he said, you know, can you meet this one woman and maybe then you'll really understand what I'm trying to say. And I said, okay, let me think about it. I don't know why me, you know, why should I make this? And I went in and met Margozata Chozo, who's my research consultant and my script partner. And she's been through the whole strife with me. She was working in the embassy at that time, at the Consul General, actually, in Mumbai. And I went in, uh, met her, and she said, you know what, I wanted to write an article on her. And have you ever heard of Kira? I said, no. So, well, I met her, and she's a force of nature. I met her twice. And the way I look at you, you're a force of nature, and that's why you should make this. So I was like, wait, she's just saying nice things to me, doesn't even know me. And she said, okay, do me a favor, read this book. It's an unpublished book that Kira wrote. It's an autobiography. I took it home. She emailed it to me, and I kind of printed it in the office. And something kept at me. I had a deadline to fund another documentary with Tribeca that day. I think it was the 15th of December. And I kind of, this kept at it. So I said, okay, I'll print it. And I printed it, brought it home, tried reading it, put it on the side. Wasn't even good English, you know, it was translated from Polish. And it just kind of.
Why did you decide then? What moved you over?
So I read the book. So in the night when I read the book, it really gripped me. And it, as a human being, I related to her so much that I was like kind of jolted into this story. And something told me that if I don't do this film, nobody else will do it. It's a story that has not been told before. It's a very risky story. It cannot become a Hindi film. It cannot get funded. I'll have to maybe just, you know, beg, borrow, steal equipment. We didn't steal, but we did everything else. And take favors and get the film made. And we did that and put in my own money. I would do day jobs and put in money into this.
So why though? Because given that you have a whole menu of choices, what compelled you beyond the story? Because you have to weigh all the pros and cons. And what tipped you over? Was it the story? Was it something else? What was it?
It's the story. The story is really compelling. Here was, it's a story about abandonment in a way, right? It's about Polish people from 1940s in a Siberian labor camp find their way into Iran and find their way into India. And Kira Banashinska helps them make this. It's a humanitarian cause. So somewhere at the core of my filmmaking, I'm more interested in humanitarianism than I am in any other way of or the, you know, the arts or the commerce of filmmaking. I'm more interested in the impact it has on lives, and that's why I make films. So for me, I was just pushed into it. You know, when I read the book, I couldn't not make this film. I mean, who else would make it? I just knew that it had to be me.
What resources became available to you when you did decide to make it, and what wasn't?
It was a war. Okay, there were no resources. I was exactly in the same situation that Kira was. She needed to bring these people here and she had nothing. I needed to make this documentary and I had nothing. So I just literally, first we went to the cultural, there's a cultural fund or something that funds some documentary and film in the chief minister's office. So we tried there first. Then we tried and we made meetings happen with everyone, but all their agendas didn't match ours, and that was a bummer. And then we went into Doordarshan even, and they said, we'll give you 5 lakh rupees and we'll take the entire footage and the entire film. And we were like, no, that's not fair. I mean, I can put my own 5 lakhs.
500,000 rupees.
Yeah, so it made no sense, like, and I just
Finance
felt
the biggest obstacle then for filmmaking?
it is. It
Yeah.
is. Finance is a huge obstacle because there's nobody supporting your work. But more than finance, I'll tell you, the reason finance is an obstacle is because there is no channel that will house the documentary. So the original form of making films in the right way, not the films division news documentaries. I'm talking about they serve their own purpose, but an artistic piece of documentary from India can only come with international funding.
Mm.
This is the issue. We did manage to get 5,000, I think 10,000 Polish zloty we managed to get, and that's another 500,000 rupees, and we managed to get that from the Polish Ministry of War Veterans and War Graves across the globe.
See.
Can you imagine? And what are the chances? I met the minister somewhere and I like literally told him, listen, you have to help us on this. And he said, I agree with you. And but you need to give us all the footage. And we said, we'll give you the footage, but it can't be exclusive. And he said, that's fine. You can keep it.
Mm.
Because the agenda is to make a fiction film
I
out of it.
assume you're bringing, in the meantime, you have plenty of connections in Bollywood to be able to bring the other technical resources that you would need. Did you
Well,
have any?
that being true, but I didn't really use them. I used my friends' equipment, and people kind of lent me their stuff. So in this film, I was the sound recordist, the director, the DOP. On that particular shoot, on initial shoots, all the material shoots, and I was my own driver, and I was my own funder, and I had, of course, Margaret with me. So she did what she could do, and then I had to sometimes take my daughter with me, pick up my own equipment. There was nobody else, so we did that. We shot with all this. We shot in England, we shot in Poland, we shot in India, in different cities, in Hyderabad, in Kolhapur, in Mumbai. We shot everywhere, and we managed to do it.
So
So
my
we
last
also
question for you then, Anjali, is um, all art forms are full of social hierarchies that an artist must climb. Uh,
yeah.
and so what are the hierarchies for filmmaking or documentary filmmaking in India that you face?
Well, not so much in documentary, but I mean, I did assist Sabha Diwan on one of her films, which was a PSA film. But hierarchies in the sense, if you're a storyteller and you want to really tell a story, you should have some place to go to find funds. Some place to go to air it, to say, listen, this is what I made, please have a look at it. While there are so many festivals across the globe and so many funding places across the globe, there are very few that are open to Indian content, and for enough Indian content, maybe they'll give it to one Indian piece. So we got a Tokyo Docs on one of our documentaries. We got funded by Colors of Asia. We were selected amongst one of the three globally. In Asia, and we got funded there. But that was 16 lakhs coming in, and we straight made the film and gave it to them for
Probably
NHK.
done films before, Anjali, and many of them were sort of well-known fictional films.
Yes.
Did that help you with this document, or was that an obstacle?
It's not an obstacle, and it doesn't help you. Let me put it this way: they're two different worlds. But the only thing is, when somebody looks at your resume and says, hey, you've done all these fiction films which are Bollywood, so what are you trying to do this for? And I'm like, because I want to. I mean, it's craft, it's pure craft, and it's storytelling. And on the fiction side, they'll be like, hey, are you a documentary filmmaker then? Because I'm not getting it. Like, why are you doing that? So a lot of people misconstrue and see fiction and documentary and TV in different buckets. Unfortunately, that is how the world sees it, but it's so untrue, because it's like telling a short story versus telling a long format film. You may be good at the short story as well as the long format film, but you will not be allowed to experiment with the form unless you're studying in a college. In real life, you'll be told, why are you doing this? And like, why not? I even made a film on a mobile phone. It's called Kanche. I shot it on my mobile phone because I was getting irritated not being able to raise money, right? So for a big fiction film. So I said, I'm going to break it. I'm going to do this. And I went for a small workshop, put my 44 shots together, and I just shot it. And I shot it over 3 hours or 4 hours, I think, and edited it over 8 hours, and we have a film. It's a 4-minute film.
Thank you very much. And I've seen that film. For people who are watching this, it's available on YouTube. It's about two little kids playing with marbles. It's a beautifully shot film. Thank you very much, Anjali. Thanks for joining Arts and International Affairs.